if we are in a simulation,
that there's an underlying master plan of some kind.
there may not be a master plan. The reason that these higher beings would hold a simulation is to see what happens. They don't know what happens. Otherwise, they wouldn't hold the simulation. So when humans create a simulation, so at SpaceX and Tesla, we create simulations all the time. Especially for the rocket, you have to run a lot of simulations to understand what's going to happen, because you can't really test the rocket until it goes to space, and you want it to work. But we run the simulations to see what happens. Not if we knew what happens, we wouldn't run the simulation. So whoever created this existence, they're running it because they don't know what's going to happen, not because they do.
Yo, what's up all you good people out there, and welcome back to the channel. All right, in this episode today, we're gonna kick back and watch some strange TikToks. Now, some of these TikToks might really have you sitting back in your chair like, what in the world? Oh my goodness.
There it goes. Oh, watch it. Watch the building. There it goes.
Scary how this looks so familiar, and we're actually in September right now too. Like, that's just wild.
NASA document, and was this intentional? Did they want the public to see this, do you think? Or
well, again, the Illuminati, the most wealthy, rich men on the face of the planet, always telegraph everything that they're going to do. So the fact that it was on the NASA website, it was certainly available to the public, but did they see it? Obviously not. So what they say in this document is they will dole out poisonous foods. It's not what we need, but it's what we want, and those that decide to eat these foods will have the consequences of that. They tell us how they set up all the social engineering, how they devise the family, how they crumble the family, how they set up the war machine, how they influence thinking in the family unit to allow the family to give up their children to war. It said, capture, torture Americans in living color on prime time. Terror attacks within the continental United States using binary biologicals take down critical infrastructure. They are going to use an EMP, which is an electromagnetic pulse. They're going to use radiation frequencies against our brains, etc., and conduct serious psy-war and collateral damage and exploitation. On this same page 93, they say exploit CNN syndrome. Now, CNN, of course, is the network, the news media network, propaganda machine, and was set up by the CIA. We wouldn't have a legitimate government with the war machine stating what they were going to do on the continental United States to all the people. And this is not just in the United States, this is a global planned attack and assault with technologies beyond most people's comprehension.
Yeah, you can miss me with it. I'd be back inside praying like, oh dear Lord.
I know I'm not the only one who's paying attention to what's happening in California. You got a man that's walking around California screaming at the top of his lungs through the streets to evacuate California before it's too late. This man packed up from his home, left his wife and his kids because he said that God told him to come save y'all, and you're still there? And if that wasn't warning enough, you are now seeing swarms of earthquakes hitting California. How many more earthquakes do you need? How many more warnings do you need? And if you think that man is the only one walking the streets of California saying this, you're wrong. There are people all over multiple platforms saying that they're getting the same message and that they're having the same dream that California is about to be hit with something big, and it's time for you to start taking them seriously.
I get what she's saying, but most people can't just pack up and go like that, woman, especially if you don't have anywhere else to go or just simply can't afford to move. And besides that, it's California. Don't they got crazy people yelling in the streets every day?
This guy named Jim Barfield has somehow figured out where all of King Solomon's treasures are, including the Ark of the Covenant.
Money.
Dude.
So when they found the Dead Sea Scrolls, there was this copper scroll, and forever they didn't really know what it meant. And he was a investigator for the fire department. So he's like, I kind of want to give this a shot. And he literally figured it out in like 15 minutes. He's like, this is not a piece of literature. He says it's literally like a treasure map.
Dude, someone call Nicolas Cage right now.
But what's crazy is he's just like looked at it from just like an investigative point of view, and he's like, oh, this is what it's saying. It's here, 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 and here. And then when he went to these people, like these archaeologists, they're like, you're an idiot. And then he went to this one rabbi. You have no idea what you're talking about. And he's like, can I show you? And showed him. The rabbi was like, and he stood up, grabbed his face, and kissed him on each cheek and says, you have no idea what this means.
Wow.
He said,
and yet still no announcement. Like, come on now. The largest archaeology find in human history and not a peep. Now that don't make sense.
Do you guys remember this video over here where this guy's showing y'all how this mini portal works, and then you see the Aurora Borealis or the Northern Lights coming through? Y'all see that? Well, this lady over here is showing how they just erected a huge one in Detroit, Michigan, y'all.
Y'all see this? Now, I'm finna go up here and show y'all, because it's like it's on some type of hill, like a mound.
Y'all see that? They said this is for art, but when you look around it, there's no other art pieces around it. It is the only thing erected in this vicinity, and this thing is huge, y'all. Look at that. This thing is so big.
And I believe there's much more to this portal than they are telling us. Now I'm finna show y'all, it's on some type of hill, like I said, a mound.
Do you guys remember this one as well? This one is also in Detroit, Michigan, with the Scientology building right behind it. Y'all see that? So obviously something is getting ready to happen. This is what look, transcending, literally, about, again, going through the portal. And then the Fibonacci sequence numbers over here, because everything is in the shape of Fibonacci. And then toward the end of the video, this happens. Look at all these particles flying in the air. Look at all these particles flying in the air. And that was due to this mini portal. So if this mini portal is doing that, look at how big this thing is, y'all. Check it out. It's also the Omega symbol too. The Alpha and Omega. Yeah, things are heating up, y'all.
The Mandela effect just personally victimized everyone from my timeline, and I cannot, nay, will not stand for this level of deception. What is she going on about now? I'm talking about none other than Tostino's pizza rolls. It has always been Tostino's. Have you ever heard Totino's before? No.
What Totino means, Tostino.
This is a personal attack on my memory because I grew up a chubby kid. My mother never liked cooking, so I would always eat frozen food. So it was either Tostino's pizzas or Tostino's pizza rolls, but it was never Totino's. And this is not to be confused with the chips called Tostitos. I am straight talking Tostino's frozen pizzas. I did so much digging for the evidence on this timeline, and not even the super sleuths were on the case. I came across a really scary revelation about the Mandela effect while doing this research. Some people remember Tostinos like I do. Some people always remember it being Totino's. And apparently there's a group of people who remember it being Tortino's. I always assumed that everybody was on the same timeline and we were shifting together to a new timeline until I realized really what's happening is different timelines are merging with each other. Maybe I'm late to that, but I never realized that's how the Mandela effect worked. All I know, I'm not from this timeline, and neither was he, neither was she, and neither were they. If you're from my timeline, comment down below. We unite, we stand together. Tostinos.
Man, back when I was a kid, I used to eat those little pizzas like every other day after school. But yeah, I feel like we all can agree with this woman. They definitely were called Tostinos.
But I told y'all a long time ago that Usher was gone, right? Look at these clips from his concert from this year and tell me, does he even sound or look like himself?
Has the Vatican always known that Pope Francis would be the last pope of the Roman Catholic Church? I mean, two different prophets from two different time periods both predict that he will be the last pope. And not only that, the night that his predecessor stepped down as the pope, lightning struck St. Peter's. And then in 2023, lightning came back and struck this statue. It knocked the halo off of this statue's head, and whatever it was holding in its hand is gone. If that's not a sign from you-know-who, I don't know what is. The two prophets that I'm talking about are Nostradamus and St. Malachi. This is the quatrain from Nostradamus that most people apply to 2024, and the reason they do that is because of the last line, the Great One of Rome will... Now also, hear me out. We have 6 planets that are about to align, 4 which will be visible with the naked eye. Now, St. Malachi wrote 112 prophecies all about the popes to come. 112 is where it stops, and it stops with the final persecution of the Holy Roman Church. Pope Francis is the 112th pope, so a lot of people think that St. Malachi was talking about Pope Francis. But the big question is, does the Vatican think that? I think they do, because they just updated their supernatural guidelines, so I think they think something's coming.
Yeah, screw all that mess. I just want to know when we can have access to them archives.
I guess drink each other's blood might mislead people, or like people are imagining us with like goblets and we're like Game of Thrones drinking each other's blood. It's just a few drops, but yes, we do consume each other's blood on occasion for ritual purposes only. It is used for a reason, and it is controlled where it's like, let's shed a few drops of blood and each drink it. He's much more haphazard and hectic and chaotic, where he's willing to just like cut his chest open with broken glass and be like, take my soul. Let me bleed on you. It doesn't not happen, let me tell you. Maybe not exactly like that, but a version of that has happened many times.
How is everyone in that room just okay with this? Like it's no big deal? Like, why is this even considered normal to Megan Fox?
You can't even make this shit up. Did you know that as of June 2021, they came up with a disorder called prosopmetamorphosia, otherwise known as demon face syndrome? Yeah, what do you think that is? Why do you think that new disorder popped up in 2021? I'm not going to say anything else. I'll let you be the judge of that. But I'm going to tell you right now. No, I won't even say that. But I want you to think long and hard. I want you to really put your thinking cap on and ask yourself, why all of a sudden now are they coming up with something, a disorder to call this? Because so many people are witnessing what? What? What happened? Can't hear you. Comment below. If you know, you know.
With the veil thinning and all, I'm sure people are going to start seeing more and more of those demons that walk among us. Very chilling to think about, but just make sure to be prepared for anything.
If you're somebody that hasn't heard about this yet, police are now starting to literally warn people over a new scam that's happening right now, and it has to do with getting packages at your door. So police are now warning over a terrifying new one-step scam that allows a hacker into your phone within seconds. And by the way, this officer in specific, whenever he was talking about this issue, he said that he would have fell for it himself if he was not warned about it. So this is your warning. They're saying for this new scam that's going around, you'll basically get a package in the mail from a brand that you already know, but you wouldn't have ordered it, so you would think that it's a free gift. And obviously, it'll be addressed to you, so your full name and address will be on the package. You'll literally just think that it's a free gift. And now this is where the scam is actually happening. You'll open the box, obviously not knowing anything of it until now, this video. And then there's going to be a QR code on the inside of the box that tells you to scan it. And you're obviously going to want to scan it because why wouldn't you? And that's what hacks your phone. And whenever this happens, they can get all of your credit card information, your bank information, your pictures, your phone numbers, your contacts, literally everything on your phone. And you will not even know that it happened.
I think I figured out how Randonautica works and how it can take people to like crime scenes and weird places. And if you don't know what this app is, it's basically an app where you can download it and it's supposed to take you to a random place when you set an intention. So, you know, you'll open up the app, let's say you put like something scary and it's supposed to take you to somewhere scary. Or let's say you want to put somewhere like love and it will take you to somewhere where you will find love. Now, logically, it just sounds stupid, but if you look into some cases, it makes no sense. Pretty sure you already heard of the teenagers that went to the beach and they found 2 unalive people stuffed in a suitcase and it was the exact location. I also heard a story that a girl said she wanted to go somewhere scary, so it took her to an abandoned farmhouse. But the thing was, it was at nighttime and there was a random man just standing there by the door just for no reason. Another group of people also put scary and it took them to an abandoned house. But when they went there, they just heard like screams of agony. It wouldn't stop and they heard like this whirring machine sound. It kind of sounded like a chainsaw. Now this is what I think is happening. I believe that there's people behind the scenes actually placing like the locations for people to go. That situation we just talked about, the girl and she went to an abandoned farmhouse and there was a dude standing there. I feel like that was like a human trafficking scheme. The kids that found the suitcase, I feel like someone put the location for the suitcase so it could be found.
An app that sends you to a mystery location doesn't sound like something I'd like to try.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, that's neat. Whoa. Decrease the ISO, yeah. It's getting bright.
Like what?
Like 1,000, like 800.
Okay.
Holy shit, that is bright.
Oh my gosh. What?
Wow.
I wish I could take like a video of this. I guess I could try.
Yeah, it's too dark on the screen. Jesus, it's
Wow. Look at that. Look at that. Whoa. Those pinks. Dude. This is nuts. Holy shit.
You know something I find interesting? The hotel that Whitney Houston died in, the exact room, you can stay above it or below it, but you cannot stay in that room anymore. And they don't let anyone into that room. So the real question is, what happened in that room? And are there like true crime documentaries about that situation? Because I would love to know more. Considering Clive Davis had the Grammy party in the lobby of that hotel, and you can still like, the day she died, he did not cancel or postpone his Grammy party. And there is a lot of mysterious things about how and when Miss Whitney died. So what are your thoughts? And has anyone like been there to do any kind of paranormal research? Because guaranteed her spirit is like trapped and bound to that place because of her traumatic passing.
Isn't it the same thing with Elvis Presley? Like after he passed away, no one's been allowed to enter his bedroom besides like close family. And yeah, with Whitney Houston, I feel like once Clive Davis passes away, that's when it will all finally come out.
I think it's like kind of odd that like a guy like me has to come out from doing what I do on a daily basis to have fun, because I see what's going on in these streets and I see you guys just sitting up there in them comfy chairs and suits and I'm getting out here every day and I'm broadcasting this and you guys are just sitting up there in suits and stuff. Like I really challenge you guys to get out here and do something. These Haitians are running into trash cans. They're running into buildings. They're running into, they flipping cars in the middle of the street. And I don't know how, like, y'all can be comfortable with this. Like, I don't know, like, who's getting paid from this. I honestly feel like someone's getting paid from it in the background. You got a bunch of people on a bus getting dropped off at a gas station to come down here. I know a single mom that FaceTimed me this morning at the welfare office that really need something. And it's nothing but immigrants over there. And I don't even want to, seem like I'm coming down on the immigrants, because it's the people that's bringing them down here. Because wherever they're at, that's what they're used to, bro. They're in the park grabbing up ducks by their neck and cutting their head off and walking off with them and eating them like.
I remember this Disney intro vividly back when I was a kid and I had the VHS Disney collection back in them good old days. It looked just like this with Tinkerbell dotting the I in Disney. Mandela Effect said it never existed, but what do you know?
I mean, I know they're telling us that it's the year 2024, but it just don't feel like the year 2024. Now, how many of y'all, like myself, was actually born in the 1900s? Yeah. I'm an 80s baby, 88. Proud, you know what I'm saying? I remember 11 years old, 1999, December 31st. Shit, I was one of those kids that thought the world was gonna end, right? Now you fast forward 24 years later. 24 years later. I feel like 5-6 years passed by. Anybody else feel like that? And then if you look at the past 4 years, how does that time feel? Some of it feels like it's on repeat. That's just me. It's my opinion. None of this is factual, right? It's just my story. My experience, what the hell I'm actually witnessing. You know, it's kind of creepy. And I can't be the only one who, like, when you were younger, you could never picture yourself being older. But it's funny. It's kind of like once I hit my 30s, time just, it's warp speed, like what they call warp speed, right? Interesting. I wonder why that is. Is it because maybe we're under the influence of the holographic matrix? Could be. The reason why I say that is because now that I've done a lot of research, broke out of the programming, I see the script. Yeah. You see, time is a man concept. But the funny thing about it is, it's real in this experience. Just this experience, though. Because what is time in another frame? Have you even thought about that? It's food for thought, my people. Give y'all something to think about over the weekend. We starting early today. Peace and one love.
There was this Satanist. Yeah. He used to do voodoo to try and harm people. Yeah. And one time this woman came to him and said, I need you to try and kill this other woman that I hate. I want you to put a hex on her and kill her. The satanic priest, what he ended up doing, he did his rituals. And the moments where he spoke to the devil, you know what the devil told him?
What? Don't do it?
Not this woman.
Whoa.
Apparently, the devil telling the high priest of Satanic Church, not this woman. Her God is too powerful.
Whoa, that's weird.
Also, there's a lot of claims too. These are coming from ex-satanic people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there was a person, they went to do harm to people, I think at some church, right? When he was walking towards them, he said there was a veil of fire that it wasn't visible to the eye, but he couldn't walk towards them because it would literally burn his flesh. They couldn't see it. It's just like more of a manifest. Yeah, it's something spiritual that you can't see.
Yeah.
It's sweeping federal raids targeting several of the mayor's top aides and officials across the city. The FBI raiding homes, federal authorities issuing subpoenas and seizing the New York City Police Commissioner's cell phone. Here's our senior investigative correspondent, Eric Kotursky now.
Late today, the sweeping move across New York City. Federal investigators reaching into the highest levels of Mayor Eric Adams' administration, looking into possible corruption.
I'm not aware of any wrongdoing or misgivings from anyone on my team.
The feds now appear to be taking aim at the top ranks of city government and some of the mayor's most trusted aides. Investigators seized phones belonging to Police Commissioner Edward Caban and other NYPD officials, and they raided the homes of two of the deputy mayors closest to Adams, arriving before dawn. Adams saying tonight his administration has nothing to hide.
This shouldn't really surprise anyone out there. The whole system's corrupt, but the fact that mainstream media is actually reporting on it, now that does surprise me.
Did you see that damn video of Angelina Jolie with her arms looking weird? Tell me if I'm crazy, if I'm wrong, but did it not just look like she was struggling to stand there even? So I've been looking at other actresses around the same age as her, and for some reason all their arms look like they're 90 years old with the big veins. I mean, is it time for another host body? Maybe there's something they're not able to access right now that keeps causing them to break down like that.
I thought for sure that was Cameron Diaz at first.
We're kind of preparing the U.S. population, at least, and by extension, the world population, into that reality that there is a presence here, and that we need to explain this presence. Because if they show up and we continue to do what we did before in previous decades, and they show up, there will be mass panic. But if you understand that these are real, and we have 5 years from 2022, or maybe now 4 years, if they come in 2027, for the U.S. government to prepare the people about what is up there. And in many ways, I think the word got out within the government that they're showing up in 2027, and we better be prepared. And if not, there's going to be a lot of explaining to do. And so I think that dialogue has happened within, inside the government, in certain areas inside the government, that we need to prepare. And that's why in 2017, that set a clock of 10 years. And why Lou Elizondo earlier in this year said, just find a hobby for 5 years. And, it'll all be out in 5 years. And he said that this year, so that was 2027. And I would say I've heard 2027 in a kind of an official capacity that I can't reveal. So I think I would say that people in the government are aware of something happening, and that there's limited time, a few more years to prepare the people, and that's what's ramping up this acceleration from the previous 7 decades of not even acknowledging it to now we are acknowledging it at a faster and faster.
That's what I'm gonna be doing! Because it's a modern retelling of the Scarlet Letter, and so it's kind of nice for kids nowadays to see a movie that sort of explains the Scarlet Letter.
Rolling lights of marijuana cigarette in the building, we're going outside the 34th, 34th apartment window.
Help, what do you think, Amanda?
I don't need any help.
You don't need help?
Alone.
We pray for you, Amanda.
Take care.
Thank you, Amanda. Amanda, should you be accepting the help, Amanda?
You were serious. I was serious, but I was also on drugs. So that was my way of saying, like, let's do it, man. But I was, like, on drugs. And
the amount of unflattering shots that I see online, I know that my photos are being photoshopped. I don't look like that in the photos that I take or when I look at myself in the mirror. Paul told me that he stopped taking his medications. I looked at his phone and he was looking at mom and son porn. He vandalized his mom's home. He broke all of her pictures and put salmon under her bed. His behavior is alarming, and I'm afraid of what he'll do. And the guests that we have lined up are actually really great, so I'm really looking forward to filming the next episode, and that's about it. I post an after video of how I look after I put some MAC NC20 Studio Fix on my face. I blended in the shimmer and I covered my dark circles. I'm really liking how it looks. Don't forget to check out the Christian Dior Shimmer Powder in Pearlescent Glow number 3 and MAC Studio Fix NC20.
I used to love watching Amanda Bynes' show back when I was a kid. It's so sad seeing her today like this. Nickelodeon really destroyed her life.
What the fuck did I just do? I went to the quantum realm. I went to the fucking multiverse. This is going to blow your mind. I did something that was technically classified as a very rare ability on the Gateway experience. Myself, I accidentally did one of the super ability. I used what is called Focus 15 in the dream world, which is the ability to time travel. I consciously was time traveling in my dream. Not only did I time travel, I also dreamed consciously into a parallel universe. It was just like the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once. That scene where they were like Can you please create a portal for me to get out of here? I was communicating telepathically at this point. I tried to go back to my own timeline that I was originally dreaming on. And this entire time, I was listening to frequencies. When I tapped into these hidden abilities that your consciousness is capable of doing, you, my love, are capable of understanding what these frequencies say when you are sleeping. It's gonna get to a point in time where these frequencies become so natural to you. You actually develop frequency.
Imagine a world where Earth's magnetic poles suddenly reverse. This event, known as magnetic pole reversal, occurs over thousands of years, but the impacts would be profound. Firstly, navigational systems, which rely on Earth's magnetic field, would face significant disruptions. Compasses would point in the wrong direction, leading to confusion in travel and trade. Migratory animals that use magnetic cues would struggle, causing potential declines in species populations. As the magnetic field weakens during the reversal, Earth becomes more exposed to solar and cosmic radiation, increasing risks of health issues and technological vulnerabilities. This radiation could damage satellites and power grids, leading to global communication disruptions. Additionally, the changes in the magnetic field could affect weather patterns, as shifts in atmospheric circulation might occur.
Babe, you're just drunk. Get back in the car. Alright, my good people, that shall be a wrap for this one. Really hope you all got a kick out of this episode. Before you roll out, don't forget to hit that like button below the video. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Alright, y'all, take care out there, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.